Hi, everyone.
Gabby.
Hi, Kevin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. We are back for our latest Travel Bulletin training webinar, focused today on the family holidays market. With the school holiday period just about to start, there is definitely a topical one, as many families are about to head off to their summer holidays. So we hope you learn lots of valuable information today. If not for supplying them with this year's holiday, maybe something later in the summer, or even next year's planning in terms of their holidays. So let's meet who we're going to see today. Firstly, let's say hello to Malta's new Trade Relations Executive, Gabriela Milkova. Please say hi to you, Gabriela. Are you well?
Hi, thank you, Simon. Yes, so well. Nice to speak to everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us. Our second presenter today is Kevin Brett, who's representing Daytona Beach. Hi there, Kevin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us.
Fantastic. Okay. And our third presenter for this afternoon is the Trade Marketing Executive for Visit Tampa Bay, who is Sam Fulton. Hi, Sam.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Okay, so following our usual format, each of our partners will deliver a live sort of 10 or 11-minute presentation. What we ask that you do there is that when you're listening to the presentation, think of questions that you might want to ask them, and we'll do that via our Q&A function. So put any questions that you have for the presenters within the Q&A function, and then after the presentation, I will speak to them and give them some questions. After that, each presenter will then announce their competition prize and a question for that competition prize at the end of the training session. You'll be able to enter your answers within the competition via our website. So don't forget, it's not via the chat or via anything that we do live. It is always via our website, and the link for that is effectively travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition. A deadline for today's prizes will be this coming Sunday, the 21st of July at 4 p.m. to make sure you get online and fill it in by then. We've got some great prizes on offer today, so listen carefully throughout the presentations so that you give yourself the best chance of winning. Okay, let's crack on with our first training session. Gabriela's going to stay with me. If everyone else can mute themselves and turn their cameras off, that'd be great.
Thanks, Simon.
Right.
I'll just...
Gabriela, take it away. If you want me to, do you want me to sort of give you a 1 minute to go or anything like that? Or are you happy that your presentation is about the right length?
Yeah, it should be okay. I just need to share the screen and then we're good to
Fantastic. I will leave you in peace, and I'll come back on if something's wrong or whatever. So don't worry, I'm always here.
Sure. Thank you very much. So hi, everyone, once again. I will just share my screen, so just please bear with me for a second. Hope everyone can see this. If Simon, could you perhaps give me a heads up if this is visible?
Need to go full screen. Once you go full screen, I think we should be good.
Oh. Yeah, all good.
No, I've got two screens. I've got one which has got your slide and then the next slide.
1 second, I think I must have shared the wrong screen. Apologies.
Don't worry, we're all there. Don't worry.
Technology nowadays in so many screens. 1 minute. Okay, I think we should be good with this one. Can you see the full screen now?
It's perfect.
Great.
I'll leave you to it.
Thank you. So to kick off, I don't know how many of you know, or basically Malta is a archipelago. It is made up of 3 islands, and the Maltese islands are Malta, Gozo, and Comino. As travel agents out there, essentially we don't tend to push Comino too much in terms of travel. It is a very small island. The reason I'm starting with it is just to flag this up. There's only 2 people, local people living on the island. So families and any visitors really can go around the island by walk. They can physically walk around the island. They can take a boat around the island and swim in many sort of spots around Comino. But generally speaking, we don't tend to push visitors to stay over there overnight. Malta and Gozo are the next best options. Malta is quite, substantially bigger than Gozo. Just to give an indication of the size of the island, it's roughly 17 square meters to 27. So it takes an hour to an hour and a half by car to cover it. Gozo is a much smaller island. It's tend to be thought of as the Zen place to go to kind of move away from all the activities that Malta has to offer, all the nightlife. It's a place where you can go and relax, essentially. In terms of the islands themselves, on all 3 islands, English and Maltese are the official languages. They're all based in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, which technically means that obviously when it comes to the climate, it's perfect throughout the year. It's got over 300 days of sunshine. And the lowest seasons, we would say, would be January, February, where it gets colder, but it's not as cold as it would be in the UK, looking at anywhere between 9 to 15 degrees. So it's still quite good to go that time. We tend to push the shoulder season quite a lot as well, because even during November, December, and October as well, temperatures still can be up to like 25 degrees. So it tends to be quite a unique selling point for getting people to explore, a good sort of weather out of the UK as a short-haul destination. In terms of the flight time, whether it be from UK and Ireland, depending on where you fly from, it can take anywhere up to between 3 to 3.5 hours. So it's quite easy access from the airports. Getting around the Maltese islands there's many different ways, actually. One of them is by public transport, which is very reliable. You can get a bus pass for a week, which costs 15 euros, which is quite cheap. Then you can also rent a car. They have Uber and Bolt out there, so taxis are very easy to book. In terms of another method, water taxis has been recently introduced, as well as a method of, containing the traffic or managing the traffic. So it's a very popular way of getting around too. In addition to that, you've got the harbor cruises. So for example, one thing to mention here is that you can get a ferry from Malta to Sicily, which takes roughly an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. So if you have any families out there or any visitors out there who are looking to perhaps combine two destinations into one, or perhaps pop over to Sicily on one of the days, it's a really sort of unique double destination offer out there. In terms of history, Malta's got over 7,000 years of history. For any visitors out there who are particularly, history buffs, there's so much on offer. It has 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The city of Valletta is the first one I would like to mention. This is the capital. It's 1 square meter, and the whole city itself is a UNESCO Heritage Site. It used to be also a fun history fact was that it was one of the most bombed cities during World War II. So there's a lot out there to see in terms of heritage and history. The other 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites are actually split between the 7 megalithic temples, which are scattered all over the island, including Gozo, as well as House of Lieni Hapujim, which was found actually in the 1900s quite recently. They were trying to develop the site, and they ended up finding a burial of about 7,000 people. So they stopped the development, of course, and now it's a preserved site. It's very popular to visit, and we do recommend that for any clients out there that you have that do wish to visit it, they need at least 2-3 months in advance to be able to book a space, because they only let a certain amount of tours per month and per week as well. Moving on to what to see and do. I know this is quite a bit of information on here, but I'll just run through it very quickly. And obviously for any questions, we can head to our main website, which have further details, and you can reach out to us as well. But in terms of adventure, you can do scuba diving, snorkeling, jeep safaris, quad biking, horse bike riding. The sightseeing is very much, this is just a few of them, but you can do boat tours or rolling gigs. Rolling gigs is quite a fun, unique way of getting around and visiting the 3 cities. It's essentially like an automated golf cart that you can drive, and it also has a GPS on it, and essentially it guides you through. It talks to you as you're being driven along. So it's a really nice way to sort of explore around the 3 cities, around Valletta. Then there's walking tours, film and TV tours, National Aquarium. Then we have the nature aspect of it, which is the gardens, the San Anton Gardens, the Upper Lower Baraka offer really good views, 360 views. In terms of culture, anything from cheese making to Museum of Fine Arts and Dinner, which is the Silent City over there, glass blowing. Then you have the history part, which we went through just now, but again, I've stated just a few of the sites that you can visit. In terms of fun, and this is especially for families, it's quite unique sort of village to visit. Popeye Village is based off the movie Popeye, where the Popeye movie was essentially filmed. There's a lot to do for kids as well as adults out there. The other site would be Explorer Science Center. Again, that would offer entertainment for both adults and kids alike. This is what Valletta looks like. I would like to mention that it's built on a grid, so it's very easy access to get around it. Gozo, which I mentioned initially, is essentially a very short ferry from Malta. You can go there via 2 points essentially from the island. One is through a ferry by foot, and the other one is by car. Both of them don't take longer than 20 to 40 minutes. So a lot of people tend to take some time to go to Gozo and sort of wind down. And they also have, in terms of the actual accommodation, it's good to mention that because it's quite rural, all of the accommodations, so most of the accommodations are farm-like based. So it really does offer countryside kind of experience. Also, the island has a very strong tradition of craftsmanship, from lace making to pottery to sea salt harvesting, and you can purchase the products all on site. It's quite a sustainable way of activities to give back to the community as well. And Gozo is also home to the Gantia temples, which is the oldest standing free structure temples in the world. They also predate the Giza pyramids, so that's quite an interesting fact to note. Moving on, in terms of gastronomy delights, the cuisine is very much influenced by the history behind it, going from North African influence to I know it says Italian influence there, but I would call it Mediterranean influence per se. So even through the food itself, you can feel the fusion of cultures being immersed in it. There's 6 Michelin star restaurants in Malta, and I have to say, the value for what you get out there, you can't even match it in the UK. It's quite affordable to go to, and the restaurants offer quite an exquisite dining experience in terms of different flavors as well. Moving on to the year-round events, and this is, especially for families, kids and adults. Easter, which is a period that's very much booked by the UK market to go for, is it's quite a good time to go. Now, Malta itself is a Catholic country, so there's a lot of festivals out there. They celebrate a lot of patrons, whether it be on a weekly or monthly basis. There's a lot of vigils that you can attend as well. In terms of summer as well, there's a 3-day celebration, which is basically highlight of the summer with a parade, all sorts of costumes and face decorations and so forth. So it's a really nice day, sort of 3 days out with the family that you can spend out there and see even the town fiestas as well, which again, each town has their own festas and they're all based on the patrons that they celebrate, and they have competitions. So it's quite a interesting way of exploring the heritage and culture behind the destination. Another one to point out is the Earth Garden, which is an eclectic family festival. And again, this is an immersion of sort of music and fun workshops for the children as well. This is the festive period. This particular slide, I wanted to sort of go a little bit deeper just to give you the sort of the timeline of when the festival, village festas take place, which is between May and September. This is the perfect time to go. Also, the festas themselves, as mentioned before, they're very much, based on the show of the religious ceremonies and the immersive experience that you have there in terms of church decorations, fireworks, and so forth. Really, that do set the scene for quite a unique experience to explore the destination. Beach days, we have in Malta 12 blue flag beaches. There are quite a few of sandy bays, quite a few sandy bays, but mostly there's sort of soft rock beaches, if I can put it this way, and they all have gently sloping entry points. There's no strong current, so they're super friendly for small kids and adults alike. Most beaches, which are family friendly, are situated in the west and north part of the island. And Gozo itself as well has some really astonishing secluded bays and really calm beaches to explore as well. Top dive sites. Malta itself is known, it has been known for as the third best destination, top diving destination in the world. It has the water has clarity of up to 40 meters, and there's about 122 different dive sites to explore. The one that you can see on the picture here is actually Blue Hole in Gozo. And some of the actually entry points can also be used for dive entries as well, especially for the slopes. So there's different ways of actually getting into the water when it comes to dive sites. A unique aspect, unique selling point, especially for the diving, is that PADI divers can get their certificate at the age of 10, especially for the kids. And they also do training for the kids at the age of 8, where they train them on how to breathe underwater and so forth. So you can start as early as 8. But physically you can't get your PADI diving certificate until the age of 10, which is still quite young. Best places to stay. Now I've lined these up because I know that there is a range of different interests, and when it comes to families, especially some families like more busy side and nightlife and so forth, whereas others would like more relaxed and more family oriented areas. Bulletin, Lima, and St. Julian, the first two on the slide, are more prone to be for for single couples, for solo visitors and so forth. But there are families staying out there because all of the 4- and 5-star all-inclusive places are within that area. Especially for families, where most of the families would go is up north, as I mentioned before, because it's where the best beaches would be to visit as well, which would be Bugibba and Aura and Mlieha. These are the two sites that especially we would focus on for families. That's not to say that the others two wouldn't be as well, but this is where we would point families to go to if they were looking for a place to stay. I will let Areti play the video here, and I'll stop sharing my screen.
Have you stopped sharing?
I'm trying to, sorry.
Okay.
Or just have a button that says share, it doesn't say stop
Okay,
share.
don't worry. I think we've taken over.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Simon. Areti, will you be able to share the last slide with the QR code, please?
Yes, absolutely. One second.
Thank you. So just to mention, you can scan the QR code from your phone. Currently, we are redoing our training platform, which should be up and running hopefully by the end of August. So we can give you the heads up once it's ready. You can go ahead and do the courses. But once you scan the QR code, it will give you information that will lead you to essentially our website. You also have access to our big agent rewards. So please do log on to that and log your bookings. We do give prizes every month, going from hotel stays to goodie bags and so forth. And also we have a private Malta travel agents group where you can request to join. And essentially the whole group is all about Malta and anything newsworthy coming up, events and so forth.
Fantastic. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, we can unshare that, and I've got a couple of questions for you quickly, if I can do, and then we'll pass on all the others, Gabriella, as well.
Yeah, sure.
So I've got a couple of people, Andy Gahuli and also Debbie Wilson, have both asked about the ferry to Gozo.
Yeah.
And they're asking, how often does it go effectively, and which town or whatever does it leave from in Malta?
Every 20 minutes from Chikawa, and then you can also get through from Gozo as well. So there's two different access points, and it doesn't take longer than, depending on which ferry you get. I believe the car ferry is a bit shorter, but the foot ferry takes about half an hour. So it's very easy access, and it runs 24/7 as well.
Okay, that's great. I've also had Annabelle Marshall and Alex Jones have asked about the new hotel on Camino. Is this anything that you can tell us anything about?
Not as of yet. We can share further information down the line, but at the moment I can't.
If
give
you'd
that
said
information.
anything, you'd have to kill us, right? Okay, that's fair enough. I'm sure that the information will become available as and when the
It
public
will
are
do.
allowed to know. And obviously, Gabby will share with her followers and everything else on sort of trade sites and what have you. So make
Yep.
sure that you stay in touch with her, and she'll make sure that she informs you as and when she can. Last one then I've got from Daryl and Daryl Glenn and a couple of others have asked, you mentioned how good value the food is.
Yeah.
And give us what you regard in euros an average cost for four for dinner.
Okay. So it depends on the restaurant that you go to. If we're talking about Michelin restaurants, there's, for example, again, we're not allowed to make recommendations because we have to stay impartial, but I'll just give you like top average prices. So anything for example of Forbes, awarded restaurant, you can get yourself a meal of essentially 3 different courses, really nearly enough Michelin star courses for the price of anywhere between 50 to 70 euros per head. In terms of 6 Michelin restaurants, then the price will go slightly higher, but I can't even begin to explain the way the food is out there and the showcasing of it. Something like this in the UK, I don't think you would be able to get for any less than £200-300 a head. There's just no way.
Okay, well, it sounds great value. Thank you ever so much for your presentation today, Gabby. We really appreciate that. One last thing, if you can do before we leave you, if you can do, tell us about your prize that you're giving away, and then what the question is.
Yeah, so the prize that we would like to give is actually two prizes attached to each other. It's six beers, local beers, stack of local beers, and then we're giving away a Malta goodie bag. And the question that we have is, how many blue flag beaches are there in Malta?
Okay, so remember, you can only enter via the website, which is travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition. So don't, like Miranda, don't put it on the chat, because you're just telling everyone else now what you think the answer is, but it may not be the right answer anyway, but who knows. But go at the end of the webinar, go to our website, travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition, and you will be able to enter it there. So do that. Thank you for now. Gabby, hold on to your turn your sound and everything else off, and we'll see you at the end.
Yep.
Okay, it's now time to welcome our second presenter for today, who is Kevin Brett on behalf of Daytona Beach. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, everyone.
Excellent. Would you like to share? And I'll leave you to it.
Great. I think we should all be able to share that. Well, thank you, Gabby. I've never been to Malta. I feel like I want to go to Malta now, so thank you for that. It was excellent. So yes, as Simon said, my name's Kevin Brett, and I'm with the Daytona Beach area CVB. For the sake of time, I'm actually going to try my best to stick to my script. Otherwise, I'm tempted to go way over time. So I respect your time and thank you again for your time today. Daytona Beach, we're based in Florida in the United States. We're located in Volusia County, which is on Florida's east coast. It's an easy 1 hour drive from Orlando. Orlando International Airport is the nearest gateway airport, so we always highlight that. We offer 23 miles of relaxing beaches, a fabulous boardwalk and pier, 20 golf courses, including the LPGA, the Ladies Professional Golf Association course, 50 annual festivals, natural attractions, outdoor fun, and of course, not forgetting the famous Daytona International Speedway. In addition, we have art galleries, fabulous shopping, and excellent dining options. So as a summary, there's lots of reasons why your customers need to include Daytona Beach in their Florida holiday. I mentioned that we're only an hour from Orlando. Here we are on the East Coast. You see just north of us is San Agustin, which is about an hour's drive, and an hour south is Kennedy Space Center. So certainly within easy reach of the main gateway in and out of Central Florida. Now, we've invested over $2 billion into the area over the last several years, and that's meant there's now more hotels, more attractions, more dining and shopping options than ever. And it really is a great time, perfect time for your clients to experience or re-experience all that there is in the Daytona Beach area. Now, Daytona Beach is renowned as a family-friendly beach fun destination. As I mentioned earlier, 23 miles of wide open beach space. And as well as all those endless activities you can do on the beach, not just go in the sea, beach comb, you can cycle on the beach, you can even drive your car on the beach at certain ramps on and off the beach. But there's plenty more to do as well. Endless activities, hiking, biking, miles of trails around the area, as well as explore parks and many outdoor and eco-friendly activities. I want to stay on eco-friendly for just a moment, because we've got a lot of activities there, including paddleboarding, kayaking, parasailing. Parasailing is something I've personally done, actually. There I am on the left. And you get some fabulous views of the coastline from about 500 to 1,000 feet in the air. It's a great, relaxed, gentle experience, not an adrenaline pumping experience, but certainly a gentle one, and certainly one I'd recommend. Staying on the eco-friendly theme, we've got Ponce Inlet Lighthouse, That's 170 feet tall. It's the tallest lighthouse in Florida and the second tallest in the United States. You can actually climb the 203 steps to get some of those same great views that I just showed you. Probably not as high as 1,000 feet, but at 203 feet, you're still seeing a great view across the coastline and to the intra-coastal waterways. Just a 2-minute walk from the Ponce Inlet Lighthouse is the Marine Science Centre. It's the largest rehabilitation centre for injured wildlife in Florida's East Coast. It's dedicated to the rehabilitation of sea turtles and sea birds. The centre provides a real learning experience where you can explore more about, you can explore the marine life and the ecosystems in a very unique way, and all things that are unique to the local area. Just recently, we've opened a new raptor education and conservation exhibit. Raptors are birds of prey, if you didn't know, and it's dedicated to the permanent raptor residents there at the centre who, due to their injuries, cannot be returned to the wild. In addition, the centre will soon complete the renovation of their exhibit that pays tribute to the history of Volusia County's artificial coral reef program. And vital marine habitats are created by placing the remains of ships, barges, aeroplanes, concrete utility poles, and other large items embedded on the seafloor. The exhibit is an artificial reef which is modelled on a real ship, the 150-foot Lady Philomena, that began serving as a man-made habitat off the shores of Daytona Beach in June 2018. So that's all in part of the conservation area. And I want to highlight this attraction as well, right next door to Ponce Inlet. It's an experience not to be missed, and it costs only $8 for an adult ticket admission. It really is great value because we want people to get educated about conservation and about the marine life. And keeping with that whole eco-friendly theme, we've got other activities whilst you're in Daytona Beach. You can take a scenic boat tour in the calm waters just off Ponce Inlet. I should have said Ponce Inlet is just 6 or 7 miles south of the main Daytona Beach area where the pier is. So it's only a short drive, and you can take this scenic boat tour around the coastal inland waterways as well as Ponce Inlet itself. It's a 90-minute duration, and you can see sea dolphins, sea turtles, and exotic birds. And there's also the catamaran in the top right-hand corner there, the Arabella, and it's a 2 and 3 hour swim and sail and sunset tour. And you have, some spectacular views of the coastline, and it actually pulls up there on the sandbank where you can get off board, you can walk and get back on board again. A fabulous experience while you're there in Daytona Beach. For those seeking Florida's natural experiences, Volusia County is home to several natural springs, and I just want to highlight a couple of them to you. Firstly, there's De Leon Springs. Those who have been to Florida may well have heard of De Leon. It's about 40-minute drive from Daytona Beach and offers both swimming and hiking opportunities. After a hike, you can cool off in the spring itself, which remains a refreshing 72 degrees year-round. Up in the corner there, up in the back of the picture, you'll see the Old Mill restaurant where you can make your own pancakes at your table. It's a fabulous way of doing breakfast or lunch. I've done it myself a couple of times, and it really is a must-do exhibit there at the restaurant. Then we've got Blue Springs to the right-hand side, Blue Springs State Park, which is also a manatee refuge. It features tubing, kayaking, and swimming. It also has a playground, picnic areas, hiking trails, and an eco boat ride. So just a couple of the natural springs that you can go to. There are about 900 around Florida. We've got 9 of them right in that central area around Daytona Beach. Of course, you can't go to Daytona Beach without finding a little bit more out about Daytona International Speedway and the World Center of Racing. This has just undergone a few years ago a $400 million reimagining project, which has transformed the Speedway into a new state-of-the-art motorsports facility. It's actually multi-use as well. A lot of other venues, it's used as a venue for many other things, such as concerts and other events during the year. Visitors can take a 1-hour track tour, which includes a visit to the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. And if you are a sports fan or your client's a sports fan, it really is a must not miss attraction. But if your needs for speed is not fully satisfied, you can actually get behind the wheel of an actual race car with NASCAR racing experience and take a couple of laps around the world famous 2.5 mile speedway circuit with a driver. And the costs start at only about $99. So if you want a bit of adrenaline and take a car ride yourself, you can do that while you're there. Daytona Beach is also the festival capital of Florida. It's home to over 60 renowned art, music, and one-of-a-kind pop culture festivals. Has some of the most well-established events in the state of Florida. There's an impressive lineup with a flair from everything from culture to cuisine, and motorsports and music. And please note that many of these festivals are free of charge for visitors to enjoy. In the summer, there are concerts and fireworks at the band shell, which is right beside the beach. These run from May through September, hosting live summer concerts every Friday night and every Saturday night at the historic amphitheatre located adjacent to the beach. And again, these are free to the public to attend, and there are fireworks that mustn't be missed, which are launched from the pier every Saturday night following the concert. Daytona Beach also boasts a rich tapestry of arts and culture and heritage. I've jumped a slide, my apologies. You can experience world-class museums, phenomenal art galleries, impressive performances, and numerous historic sites and other cultural treasures. Just to highlight one of them, the Museum of Arts and Sciences is a Smithsonian-affiliated museum and now has new exhibits planned for this year, as well as a renovation of its state-of-the-art planetarium right there in Daytona Beach. Daytona Beach also offers a mural trail where outdoor public artwork can not only be enjoyed as you explore the destination, but it also serves as a great picture-perfect backdrop for any Instagram posts that you want to take and make. You can indulge in a day of pampering at one of many of Daytona Beach's top spas. And also there's some great shopping at Daytona Beach. Guests can sample everything from a distinctive collection of gift stores, antique shops and clothing boutiques at the riverfront shops just minutes away from the beach, or shopping all in one venue at the Volusia Mall, at One Daytona, and outlet shoppings at Tanger Outlets just minutes away from the beach. So plenty of shopping options for your guests. Daytona Beach is also bursting with lots of different dining options, from traditional ethnic eateries and high-end fare to the ever-popular Graze As You Go Daytona Beach Ale Trail, which is one of my favorites. You can enjoy everything from fresh seafood to fine dining, traditional Southern cuisine, which I'd really recommend, and even a good old American cheeseburger. There's just lots of dining options, lots of outdoor dining. And relaxing views of the Atlantic Ocean, or some great restaurants along the Intercoastal Waterway. In terms of accommodation, we have about 12,000 rooms in the Daytona Beach area to choose from, with some new accommodations and some stunning renovations to boast about. Just to highlight a couple, we've got the Hard Rock Hotel on the beachfront that recently completed a multi-million renovation project. And this is one of the more popular resorts for UK guests. The 12-story oceanfront Max Beach Resort, you see that down in the left-hand corner, features 72 spacious 1, 2, and 3-bedroom residence-style suites with an array of lifestyle features and amenities. These are great for families who want to feel like they're staying in a vacation home with their own space and their own home away from home feel. Again, I've seen the property. It's very upscale, beautiful, and some great views of the Atlantic Oceans. And then there's the One Daytona, which is up there in the left-hand corner. This is the world-class dining and entertainment complex across from the International Speedway. And there are 2 properties there, the Fairfield Inn and Suites, and also the Daytona, which is an exclusive 4-diamond Marriott Autograph Collection property. And then opening list later this year, we have the Renaissance by Marriott, which will offer some modern hotel accommodations with private balconies, a high-end seafood restaurant, an infinity pool, and again, some amazing views at the Atlantic Ocean. And we also have the 456-room Daytona Grand, which opened just over a year ago, actually, but it's part of the Preferred Hotels and Resorts Group and is another high-end property right there in the center of Daytona Beach that we want to highlight to you. And we've also got vacation home options. I mentioned about the Max Resort, but we've got a number of other vacation homes and condos for those wanting that home away from home feel, from 7-bedroom mansions on the beach to studio condos, offering properties for all sizes of groups, extended families. So anybody wanting a vacation home type feel, we've got it at Daytona Beach as well. Just as I start finishing off, I just want to highlight a couple of things that are new to the Daytona Beach area. Down there in the bottom left-hand corner, we've got the Daytona Beach Aquarium and Rainforest Adventure that I had the privilege of visiting last week while I was in Daytona. This opened earlier this year and is the destination's first aquarium, offering an educational, interactive experience featuring animals from both the land and the sea. And the aquarium includes nearly 40 exhibits, including a 100,000-gallon shark exhibit and a 12,000-gallon stingray touch pool. And when I was there, the kids were just loving putting their hands in the water and touching the rays. There's also habitats for alligators, frogs, and lizards. Of course, the kids can't put their fingers in there. And we've also got an indoor rainforest, which is going to be coming as a phase 2 in January next year. And that will feature multiple species, which include primates, sloths, and tropical birds. Up in the right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see the Riverfront Esplanade, which is a premier gathering space and botanical garden in downtown Daytona. It spans more of a mile of the Intercoastal Waterway, and visitors will discover walkways that run through a creek with waterfalls, flowers, gardens, plants, trees, and picnic tables that overlook the water. It's a great place just to hang out, to relax, and enjoy the surrounding as families. It is a great little walking and visiting destination. Then in the top left, we've got the Daytona Campfire Company, which has been around a little while, where you can be set up with your own space on the beach with a campfire and cooking and catering overlooking the ocean as the sun goes down in the evening. It's a great way to dine out al fresco, and I really would recommend that to you. We don't do too much open air dining on the beach here in the UK, especially not at the moment in this weather, but you can do that at Daytona Beach, and it's really lovely. And then there are numerous other new dining experiences across the destination, which I've mentioned earlier. And then my last slide, and finally, if your clients are looking for something a little bit fun and unique, by way of exploring the Daytona Beach area at their own pace, our collection of themed tours and trails will guide you through the area and its many cultural, historic, and natural attractions, as well as some great places for food and for drink. These easy to follow Daytona Beach trails make holiday planning simple. They're marked out as you go. You'll see all different trail options there listed on the screen. I already mentioned about the mural trail, which is really fascinating. My personal favorite that I mentioned earlier is the Ale Trail, and that takes in a number of local tap rooms and breweries and local ales and craft beer that you can do by foot. So that just leaves me to say thank you. Thank you for being here with us today, for listening, and just want to recommend again Daytona Beach as a natural choice for your Florida-bound families when they're selecting a beach destination to include in their vacation plans. Thank you, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. No, do if you can unshare, so to speak, and then I've got a few questions for you.
Right.
So we'll hit straight to that. That was very informative, and I think you managed to fit in everything that Daytona has to offer, hopefully. So
done my best.
Lots there. So I've got it. No, it was good. Daryl, amongst others, I think one of the things that Daryl Gleaner said he wants to know a little bit more about what you would do in terms of length of stay. That brings me to a sort of the 2 center option. If you because you're close to the parks and close to Orlando and everything else, what would you say in terms of a combination?
Yeah, well, we always recommend, when we talk about Daytona on its own, we always recommend a minimum of a 2 to 3 day visit, because you've got all those different things to do. You might want to spend a day on the beach, another day. You could just take up a whole day almost down at Ponce Inlet doing the lighthouse and the Marine Life Centre and the eco tours, plus all the other activities that we've shared. But yeah, as a twin centre destination, 7 to 10 days Orlando and 4 to 7 days Daytona is certainly not out of the question. We know your customers have so much great choice and some fabulous destinations, beach destinations around Florida, and you're going to hear about another one in a moment. But that would be our recommendation if you're including Daytona as part of your itinerary.
Fantastic. Okay, good stuff. Debbie Applegate asks as well, will you, in terms of the mantas, she's got a client going to Florida in August. Can you see the manatees, can you see them all year round, or is there a particular time of year that is better?
Yeah, I believe you can, but I've got to double check that and get back to you. I know up at Crystal River, which we've had some involvement with, that is pretty much year round. There may be times when you're going to more likely to see manatees and others. So let me come back on that one if I may, because I'd hate to guess and not give you the right answer. But
No,
I think
that's
you
good.
see them. But yeah.
No, that's really helpful, Kevin, and thank you. And yeah, Debbie's put that on the chat on the Q&A, so you'll see it, and we'll forward it on anyway.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay. And last but by no means least, in terms of the Speedway, you said that you can have your own driving experience. Is there an age limit for those? Because I know the driving is a slightly lower age in the States than it is here. So is there a speed limit to those taking, having their own car experience over there for foreigners, should we say?
Yeah, I think it's the driving age there, which is 16. But again, I'm just going to double check on that. I'm pretty certain it's that, but I'm going to come back. 16 is usually. But again, I'll reconfirm that. But it's a great question, important if you're going as a family. So yeah, let me come back on that.
Okay, no, well, that's great. Thank you ever so much. We really appreciate your presentation. Tell us now, if you can do, what you're going to offer in terms of a prize, and the question that relates to it.
Yep. So the price is a £50 Love to Shop voucher. And my question is, what is the drive time from Orlando to Daytona that I quoted earlier in the presentation?
Fantastic. So drive time from Orlando to Daytona. Remember, all of the questions and answers and everything else must be entered via the website travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition. And the competition closes at 4 p.m. on Sunday. Thank you for now, Kevin. Really appreciate that. And we'll see you again in sort of 10 or 12 minutes time, something like that. Right. It's now time for by no means our least, but definitely our final presentation. Sam, would you like to join us, please? There she is.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you loud and clear,
Amazing.
Sam. I will leave screen and leave you to it.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. So I hope everyone can see my screen okay. I think I've selected the right one.
You're all good.
Perfect, cheers. So just to start, I will start with a little introduction video, which kind of introduces you to the imagery and the kind of feel of what Tampa Bay is like. Awesome. So just to start, in case not sure where Tampa Bay is, it is in Florida as well, like Daytona Beach, but we're about an hour drive from Orlando, or about a 4.5 hour drive from Miami. We market ourselves as a good 2 to 3 night addition to any Florida itinerary. We realize we're probably not people's like first time Florida comers destinations. People tend to like obviously go to Florida or Miami more so, but maybe more your repeat visitors. We like to encourage people to fly into Tampa Bay because well, our airport, this is one of our like key selling points as well, is that our airport is much smaller than Orlando, for instance, and much quicker queue times. So for instance, I went December last year, and I kid you not, from landing to being out, picked up my checked bag and whatnot, under half an hour. Super stress-free, super easy. And it's actually, the airport has won quite a few awards for being like best big airport in the US for a few years running now. So yes, I recommend that. And then in terms of connectivity from the UK, we have direct flights from London and also some from mainland Europe. But from London, we have daily direct with Virgin from Heathrow, or 3 times a week direct from Gatwick, and that is with BA. So this is just kind of introducing you to what Tampa Bay looks like. When I refer to Tampa Bay, I'm mainly referring to downtown area and not like the extended city. So when we recommend going to Tampa Bay, there's a lot in downtown. And one of our key selling points is that once you're in Tampa Bay, you do not need a car. It is all very walkable. So a few things I just want to point out here on this map, for instance, is the orange line that's going around the periphery of the bay. That is the Tampa Bay Riverwalk. That is from one end at the top from Armature Works all the way to the other end by the cruise terminal and Sparkman Wharf. That is only just about 4 kilometers or 2.6 miles. So walking that, realistically, it can only take, if you didn't stop, about an hour. So it's really quite actually close and compact together. So really good for people trying to explore a lot of the city in a day, maybe if you're only adding like a 2-night addition to an itinerary. But if you want it longer, we recommend longer, obviously. But yeah, only 1 hour from one end to the other. And another thing I want to point out on here, so the Riverwalk is that's one main way to get around, which is, it's like, imagine like it's quite a wide pedestrianised boardwalk going along the periphery of the bay. Walk, skate, cycle it, whatever you want, and there's lots of attractions along the way. So for instance, you see these yellow dots along the river as well. That is the Pirate Water Taxi. That is another way to get around. That is a hop-on, hop-off service where you buy it as a 24-hour pass and you can use it whenever you want. Really good way to also see the city from the water. Obviously, being a bayfront, we recommend that. Water-based activities is one of our key selling points as well. And it's not only just transport, there are people on there who are taking you around, also are telling you about what you see as you see it. So it's a good bit of added value. Another way of getting around I want to point out is this grey dotted line going through the city. That is our Tico streetcar. That, if you imagine the kind of San Francisco streetcar vibes, you know, the old wooden rickety kind of things going up and down the hills of San Fran, it's that kind of thing. But what is unique for Tampa Bay is that it is completely free. So what we like to say is, especially I know you guys are here to hear about like family holidays. If you're here, and I suppose with family holidays, you're trying to cut costs, you know, budget friendly kind of things, this is a really good way to get around being completely free. And it's also runs till quite late in the night. So maybe parents want to go out and get a couple of drinks somewhere. This can service all of your main like hotels in downtown Tampa. And just want to point out the end of this streetcar as well is a area called Ybor City. And that is our like Cuban heritage historic district where there is a lot of bars and things like that as well. And another thing I just want to point out along here in terms of along the Riverwalk, we have a bunch of attractions, which I actually will show you. in the Tampa Riverwalk attraction pass. So this is something we definitely recommend, especially if you've got families going, is that this Riverwalk attraction pass, for all of the different 7 or 8 different things included there, it has a total value of about 150 USD. But for an adult, for instance, for a 1-day pass, you can buy it as a 1-day or 3-day. For 1 day for an adult is 55 USD. So it's already about a third of the price for the value that you're getting, whereas a child is about $35. And that only increases just a little bit if you had it for 3 days. That would cover 3 consecutive days if you wanted to use it. So for instance, on our website, visitampabay.com, there is actually a recommended itinerary for families when visiting Tampa Bay and the different attractions you can do day to day, how to get to each one, like around, and roughly how long it takes. Well, they recommend it to take at each attraction as well. You can also, the Tampa Bay City Pass here, that can be packaged, if you want to package it beforehand, via Do Something Different as well. But that's got slightly bigger attractions, whereas the Riverwalk Pass are just the attractions along the Riverwalk. City Pass has bigger items such as Busch Gardens, which I'm sure a lot of you probably know of when hearing of Tampa Bay's Busch Gardens. And then, for instance, we've got Aquarium at Clearwater. And then just want to point out on our website, we do have a whole section dedicated to information for families visiting Tampa Bay. And that's just a screenshot of what it looks like. And so for other attractions, because we are being water-based, I just want to point out the bottom left, that is the Pirate Water Taxi. But then we have other things as well. For instance, you could do kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding on the bay. You could do an evening river dinner cruise. Or there's, because we have a lot of pirate theme for Tampa Bay, there is also like this permanent fixture of this pirate ship where you can do 2-hour tours around it. You have water cannons, good experience for kids. Obviously, I mentioned about Busch Gardens. So we have Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens is only about a 20-minute Uber away from downtown Tampa. So this is why we recommend when people visit, you don't not need to rent a car while you're there. Once you're in Tampa Bay, so you fly into Tampa Bay Airport, it's about, again, a 20-minute Uber to the actual downtown hotels and whatnot. Once you're there, you do not need to hire a car. But if you wanted to go to Busch Gardens, we recommend doing a 20-minute Uber because that is much cheaper, maybe only about $20 compared to renting a car and then paying for parking, which parking could be anywhere between 80 to like 90 bucks. So yeah, much cheaper not to rent a car. So Busch Gardens got that. You've also got like Zoo Tampa at Lowry Park. That has a manatee rehabilitation center with West Indian manatees, where kind of linking back to Daytona Beach one as well. We have actually a live 24/7 live webcam of the manatees that people can look up online, maybe get your kids excited to go see them. You can also do the rides around the park. There's some thrill rides, and you can feed the giraffes. So you can get given lettuce and feed the giraffes. Yes, quite a bit to do. And then in terms of food, probably not going to be for families, not going to be looking at more Michelin rated ones, but in case parents are keen for fine dining evening out, we do have 5 Michelin star rated restaurants and more than 30 Michelin rated. So not your stars, but rated. So still good, but slightly cheaper. But then alternatively, I think the eateries in Tampa Bay will be more relevant. So the top right, we've got Armature Works. These are 2 I pointed out along the Riverwalk. Armature Works one end, Sparkman Wharf the other. So Armature Works, you know, eateries, lots of different food vendors, different drink vendors. They even have some live music occasionally. Caters to all dietary requirements, or maybe you've got kids who are a bit fussy eater, bound to find something that they enjoy. Both of them have lots of outdoor seating as well. So Sparkman Wharf is right by the waterfront. So you've got a view of that. Armature Works is also right by the Riverwalk as well, but has a big green area where you can take your food outside, eat it as like a picnic. I mentioned about Ybor City. That is our big Cuban heritage. So Tampa is also, got heritage, history aspect to it as well, if you're keen to learn more about that. It's actually the home of the Cuban sandwich. I won't go too in depth into this, but it is, just something a bit of added value to the area. If you want a random little fun fact about Ybor City, it's actually got free roaming roosters kind of like how swans are protected in the UK, roosters and their chickens are protected in Ybor City. So it can be fun to take your kids there and walk around and see them, like see the roosters. Nowhere else in the world really where there's free roaming roosters. So that's quite fun. This is a Tico streetcar I mentioned. Can kind of see the inside there, like the wooden, and yeah, really cool, very vibrant, can't miss it. That is also fully accessible for anyone. Maybe you've got family in wheelchairs or you've got buggies. They've got that wheelchair ramp, goes up and down. And just slightly mentioning about shopping, US, you know, slightly cheaper shopping. We've got some really good options. International Plaza on the bottom right, that is your more expensive brands. That is right by the airport, so good for maybe your end of holiday shopping. But also got some outlet stores and more boutique shopping in Hyde Park, for instance. That's the bottom left image there. Hyde Park is a really good area actually to explore for some food options and shopping, and good pedestrianised area for everyone. In terms of accommodation, we have a lot of your main hotels, for instance, your Hyatt, your JW Marriott, your Hilton. They also have maybe more if you're not keen to maybe stay in downtown in hotels. There are lots of Airbnbs if you're wanting more that kind of experience, or also campgrounds and RV parks. And if you do want more luxury, we do have our first 5-star hotel in Tampa Bay, which is called the Edition. Though I think there's one in London as well. So it's the same kind of brand. And one thing I also want to point out here with this image in the bottom left, I'm sure parents and also kids will enjoy this. A lot of the hotels in Tampa Bay all have rooftop pools. You won't find any of those kind of grotesque air conditioning units of any on top of any of the hotels. They are all being converted to either bars, restaurants, green spaces, or pools. And just want to point out as well, maybe you've got families who want to then do a cruise, Caribbean or whatnot. We have the cruise terminal right in the heart of downtown. So again, you see in the image in the top right, that is the cruise ship, and then that is Sparkman Wharf right there. Super easy to get around. Again, highlighting the point of not needing to hire a car. That comes to the end of my presentation. Just want to point out that we have an online training program. You can see there, visit tampabayspecialist.com. And that is one thing I recommend to do. And also we have a brand new destination guide. I recommend scanning that QR code because it has everything you could ever need to know about the destination all in one helpful, useful booklet. And that is me. Thank you very much.
Well done. Don't turn it off yet. Make sure people have scanned the QR code, hopefully, if they can do. Good. I've got a wonderful couple of questions for you, Sam. Thank you for that. First of all, one of the things you said it's sort of 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it might be, would be sort of good length of stay time. Is there, how does one work that out? Is that because you think of looking at the hotels, all of the sort of things that you can do in the area and where people come from, or is that what you expect? Is that what people normally do? Is that what normally happens?
Yeah, general length of stay time is 2 to 3 nights, and we realized because it's not as big as somewhere like Miami, you're not going to go for a week. And so we tend to say, come to us for a couple nights, and then only 20 minutes away, for instance, you've got Clearwater and the beach is there. So you can package a lot of areas that are actually quite close to each other, and there's enough to do to fill a few days, but we think that's usually enough time in Tampa Bay.
Okay. One other thing Jenny asks, in terms of the flight direct, the flying direct in, could you just quickly run over that again? Where can you fly out of the UK directly into?
Of course, yes. So we have daily direct flights with Virgin Atlantic from Heathrow, or 3 times a week direct with BA from Gatwick.
Flying time, roughly?
Flying time. Oh, good question. Haven't done it in a while. Something I could just quickly Google.
I would think something like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. One more thing. The last thing you just mentioned about where to stay. One of the things it's really interesting what you say about there's hotels. There's lots of normal brand names and everything else, but the Airbnb options, another option is obviously one goes to Airbnb to look for those. do you have anything within the guide that looks at any of those sort of properties?
Yes, so on a guide and our website, you can find a whole part of it which literally says where to stay and gives you all different kinds of options with price points. And maybe if you're not keen to stay in downtown, it has a map and it can tell you all the information you'd need for sure.
Fantastic. Okay, right. Covered that. Tell us now, if you can do, Sam, your prize and the question that relates to it.
So yes, my prize is a Tampa Bay cookbook. We have our own special cookbook, which has all kinds of drinks and food about the destination, and I can ship that to you. And we also have a £50 Amazon voucher, which when I get the winner, I can literally email direct to your inbox. And
Okay.
the
Yes.
question is, how much does it cost to ride the Tico streetcar?
Okay, so remember, don't answer it now. Answer it via the website before Sunday at 4 o'clock, travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition. Right, okay, and that's cookbook, all you can cook Tampa, so to speak, and then obviously the £50 Amazon voucher as well. So thank you very much for that. Right, if I can invite Gabby and Kevin back on screen now, we're going to wrap up our webinar for today. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us. If you are watching this and if you've watched it and you've had to pop out to make a cup of tea or do something which is not normally allowed, then you can catch up with it again on the recorded version via our website and also via YouTube and Facebook as well. So you can catch up and make sure you've seen everything on that. I want to thank everyone for taking part and giving us their update on their training. So really appreciate that. Thank you all the agents who've joined in and stayed with us today and listened to our training. You've had loads and loads of really positive feedback from the agents there saying what a wonderful sort of training they've had. So we really appreciate them joining in as well. If you can now give everyone a wave goodbye and we'll capture that, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Thank you ever so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.